Streaming worldwide, this is the Gospel America Television Network. It's time for Real Talk with the Jenkins, featuring Lady MJ, Pastor Marcella Jenkins, and Dr. G, Dr. Gary Jenkins. And now, let's join Real Talk with the Jenkins.
To this day, young men and women choose to raise their right hand and swear an oath to something greater than themselves.
Hi everybody, welcome to Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady MJ.
And we are the Jenkins. And our special guest is the commander of the Marine Corps Detachment at Goodfellow Air Force Base in San Angelo, Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Coyle. And we want to certainly welcome you,
Thank you, sir.
to be
Pleasure
with
to be
us
here.
on the show. We're going to be talking about the Marine Corps, the history of the Marine Corps, and you know, how it was then, and at least when I was there, and how it is now, and what can we expect in the future for our future Marines. You know, the Marine Corps is an elite fighting force among the America's Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard, and I'm proud of my history with the Marine Corps. Did you know that? Once a Marine.
I heard that the Marine Corps is tough.
Once a Marine, always a Marine. And if you go into recon, or if you go into the Marine Corps Scout Sniper program like I was in, I mean, you know, it's quite interesting. Yeah. But anyway, our guest is a special friend, and we certainly are grateful to have Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Coyle with us. Colonel, talk to us about your experience in the Marine Corps. Well, first of all, this is the 248th anniversary of the Marine Corps. So tell us a little bit about Marine Corps history. I know you know some of that.
Well, sure. Thanks very much for having me, and it's a real honor to be here with you today. As you said, it's a proud history of warfighting excellence for 248 years. The Marine Corps prides itself on, of course, being the nation's 911 crisis reaction force, and you know, whether it was from the very beginning in 1775, the Continental Marines, through the War of 1812, and then really where the modern Marine Corps started gaining its history was World War I, the Battle of Belleau Wood, the Argonne Forest, of course into the Pacific and World War II, and then of course through modern day in Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom. You know, the Marine Corps and its Marines pride ourselves on being that most ready force when the nation is least ready. And many people have heard that paraphrase of sorts over the years. And what that really translates to is our warfighting ethos of ruthless adherence to standards, constantly striving for excellence. Perfection is unattainable, but we strive for excellence in everything we do, whether you're an intelligence professional or a 0311 infantry Marine. It is imperative that you're focused on being better today than you were yesterday, and it's a ruthless adherence to those standards of training.
Question for you: why did you decide to become a Marine?
Sure. I'm the son of a retired NCIS special agent, and we lived overseas during my upbringing, both in Okinawa, Japan, and then in Seoul, South Korea. And so I had a lot of Marine officers and senior staff NCOs in the Marine Corps who were mentors and influencers of mine. And you know, at least for me as a young man, strived to be the best in everything I did. And I certainly saw that in the Marine professionals that I was fortunate enough to to know and learn from. And I said, I want to be like those folks. I want to be the best at that profession. And then simply, I would boil it down to timing. Sadly, my freshman year of college, 2 weeks into my freshman year of college, the attacks of 9/11 happened. And that was, of course, like most of my generation, that was a very impactful moment. And, you know, the desire to serve was there. And so I entered into the Marine Corps' platoon leaders class, which is one of our commissioning programs.
So when you joined the Marine Corps, now what year did you join? In 9/11 or?
In 2001, I signed a contract to go to officer candidate school. And so I attended officer candidate school in the summer of 2002 and then again in the summer of 2004. And then when I graduated college in May 2005, I was commissioned a second lieutenant.
Okay, so you had the Quantico experience, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And, all right.
Yep,
well,
sure did.
And you know, that's a precious memory for me as well. Now, walk us through from the time you joined the Marine Corps following the 9/11 attack on America to where you are today as the commander of the detachment there.
Well, I can just broadly speak first about sort of the Marine Corps' transition during those 18 plus years that I've been on active duty. As we mentioned, you know, the 2005, the Marine Corps, a Marine in the Marine Corps was very familiar with deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan, a very counterinsurgency focused mission in Marine Corps, and the training associated with that was very much focused on counterinsurgency. And over the past 18 years, particularly the last 5, we've transitioned very specifically towards looking at near-peer adversaries and you know, what it would take to train, equip, and employ a Marine today within the Joint Force to ensure that we have a capable deterrence against China, against Russia, or against whoever may seek, you know, to undermine America's interests abroad. So,
how has being a Marine changed your life?
That's a tough question because I've only known being a Marine for 18 plus years of service. I went to college and immediately went into the Marine Corps, and I don't know of any other real life besides serving in the Marine Corps, and it's been fun. You know, I tell Marines all the time, if you're not enjoying in some regard what you're doing, then you probably should look to do something else. At some point, or you know, during your life, you should, in my opinion, look to do something that's enjoyable. So I've absolutely enjoyed it because I've met some of the finest Americans from all walks of life in the Marine Corps. I had the pleasure of serving with them, learning from them, and I am motivated to keep doing it for as long as they'll let me. So,
so when you joined the Marine Corps, how would you describe your life now? How has the Marine Corps changed your life?
Sure. I think the first thing I think of is education. Obviously, I went through an undergraduate program, and I received my bachelor's degree from James Madison University in Virginia. But I say that because the Marine Corps has afforded me many opportunities to further my education, both resident professional military education, as a captain, attended the Expeditionary Warfare School, and then as a major attended the Command and Staff College at Quantico and received a master's degree from that college. And so at every opportunity, or many opportunities throughout my career, I've been fortunate to receive a better education and a better understanding of what the Marine Corps expects of me as an officer growing up in the Marine Corps, and expects of me as a leader of Marines.
They always say, once a Marine, always a Marine. Well, that's how I feel. It's in my blood. It's not going to ever go away. But we're going to talk more about the United States Marine Corps as it's celebrating its 248th birthday on November 10th. You're watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady MJ.
And we are the Jenkins.
Real Talk with the Jenkins. We'll be right back after these messages. The definition of an expert is a person who has comprehensive knowledge, skill, and experience in a particular field. Michelangelo was an expert in sculpting and painting. But if you're looking for an expert in transmissions, then look no further than Gray's Transmissions. So if you find yourself in need of a new transmission, you need to make sure you have someone with expertise and experience.
We should know because we're the experts.
Are you suffering from PAD, peripheral artery disease? It's the blockage of arteries and veins, and if left untreated, you could suffer amputation. But there's good news here at the San Angelo Cardiovascular Center of Excellence, where you can schedule an appointment without a long wait in a comfortable and safe environment.
At one time I had pain in my legs. It was excruciating pain. And before I came over to see Dr. Leon, he worked on my legs and my PAD. I had PAD problems. And now I'm very, very happy with him. I feel relief and pain-free. And now he has taken care of me, and he worked on my veins as well. And he cured that too. And I'm very happy with that.
Call the San Angelo Cardiovascular Center of Excellence at 325-999-1212. And now, back to Real Talk with the Jenkins.
We're back, and you're watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady MJ.
And we are the Jenkins. And someone who's not a Jenkins, but he's a good friend, and we're so grateful to have Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Coyle with us today. And he's going to tell us a little bit about what's happening over at Goodfellow. What are those Marines over at Goodfellow doing at your detachment? Talk to us about that.
Sure thing. Yeah, thanks for allowing me the opportunity. So the Marine Corps Detachment Goodfellow, we train both signals intelligence professionals as well as all expeditionary firefighting and rescue Marines at the DoD Fire Academy. So on any given week, we have about 250 to 275 Marine entry-level students, and then we have approximately 100 permanent personnel, instructors, and headquarters staff with us as well. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. So when you mentioned your firefighter, now I've been over at the firefighter school, quite interesting. I don't know if I could take all that heat, but why are we training Marines to fight fires? I'm sure there's a logistical and intelligence reason for that. Why are the Marines being taught to fight fires?
Absolutely, sir.
At Goodfellow.
Great question. So the Marine Corps has what we call a MAGTAF, is how we're constructed. A MAGTAF meaning a Marine Air Ground Task Force. And so every Marine Expeditionary Force, there's 3 of them at Camp Lejeune, Camp Pendleton, and Okinawa, Japan. Every MEF has a Marine Corps Air Wing, aircraft wing. So we train Marines specifically on aircraft rescue firefighting, and they're employed at every Marine Corps Air Station, as well as what we call a Marine Wing Support Squadron. And those Marines train, of course, on emergency medical response and a host of other accident scenarios, but their primary purpose is to respond to any aircraft mishaps.
Okay.
So, Colonel, right? I can say that, or I can say Commander. As a commander of the Marine Detachment Center Group, what's your main mission here?
Well, the main mission is to train both signals intelligence professionals and expeditionary firefighting and rescue professionals to be combat capable Marines. When they graduate our schoolhouse and they arrive at their first unit, they are ready to go and be employed wherever the nation may need them. That's our primary focus every day.
And that's what are your that you look over and manage?
Correct. We train them in those specific disciplines, but they're also being trained and evaluated on continued Marine Corps tasks, whether it be physical fitness or other academic related tasks that they're required to do every year. So we manage that as well.
So I keep hearing you say we.
Yes, ma'am.
So are you over the other instructors, or you just work as a team?
Just the Marine Corps instructors. Yeah.
Okay.
I say we, meaning myself. I have a Master Gunnery Sergeant who's our senior enlisted advisor. I have an executive officer, and I have a first sergeant for the detachment. So
Okay.
when I say we, I mean the four of us. We're the command team,
Okay.
looking after that every day.
Well, speaking of your team, I'm used to, when I was in the Marine Corps, I was used to being at Camp Pendleton or some other Marine base. What's the difference, is there any difference in getting training at a military base, such as a combination of the Air Force,
Sure.
Marines, Navy, etc.? What's the difference?
Sure. I think first and foremost, I would say that we have numerous, dozens and dozens of joint training centers across America, hosted either by the Air Force, the Navy, Army, etc. And that training design, initially, of course, designed to save money and cut costs for each of the services. But the byproduct of that is our young Marines and young sailors, soldiers, airmen, etc., have the benefit of learning from each of the services at such a young age. Already they're familiar with their sort of cultural identity and what each of the services brings to the fight should we have to go to war. Because we don't go to war as just a Marine Corps or just an Air Force. It's a joint team, it's a joint task force. So that at a very young age in their training, having an appreciation for each of the services, I think, is an invaluable part of the training that's conducted here. It's a great benefit.
Well, I understand that the Commandant of the Marine Corps, in recognition of our 248th birthday, has a speech that's out there, and we're going to pull that in a little bit so we can share some of that with our viewers. So hang in there with us. You're watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. We'll be back in a moment.
Real Talk with the Jenkins. We'll be right back after these messages. Are you suffering from PAD, peripheral artery disease? It's the blockage of arteries and veins, and if left untreated, you could suffer amputation. But there's good news here at the San Angelo Cardiovascular Center of Excellence, where you can schedule an appointment without a long wait in a comfortable and safe environment.
So after being pregnant 4 times, the older I got, I started having numbness in my legs. I couldn't sleep at night. My legs felt really, really heavy, and my quality of life just kind of diminished. So I found Dr. Leone. I visited with him. He did a couple of evaluations on me and realized I would be a perfect candidate for PAD treatment.
Call the San Angelo Cardiovascular Center of Excellence at 325-999-1212. The definition of an expert is a person who has comprehensive knowledge, skill, and experience in a particular field. Michelangelo was an expert in sculpting and painting. But if you're looking for an expert in transmissions, then look no further than Gray's Transmissions. So if you find yourself in need of a new transmission, you need to make sure you have someone with expertise and experience.
We should know because we're the experts.
And now, back to Real Talk with the Jenkins.
Marines, you are the strength of our Corps, and your actions determine the fate of millions of future warriors and their ability to stand on your shoulders. I know that you're ready.
As we come together to celebrate our 248th birthday, I encourage every Marine to reflect on our history and think about the moment when you ask yourself, do I have what it takes? You are on the journey that few have dared to begin.
Take pride in what you represent. You are the pinnacle of professional warriors and the model for others to follow. Sergeant Major Ruiz and I are proud to stand among you, and we'll be with you every step of the way. Happy birthday, Marines, and Semper Fidelis.
We're back. You're watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady MJ.
And we are the Jenkins. Now, you just saw the address from the Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Eric Smith, and we're celebrating the 248th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. We're 248 years old, right?
That's a lot of years.
Yeah, that's a lot of time. And celebrating with us is the commander of the Marine Corps Detachment at Goodfellow Air Force Base, Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Coyle. God bless you again, sir, and welcome.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
All right. And tell us, when you think of the Marine Corps, you know, we think about Iwo Jima, we think about, you know, those action adventures with John Wayne in the movies and Charging the Hill and everything. But technology, warfare has changed. You mentioned that already. So tell us, what do you see as the next generation of Marine Corps warfare training? What do you see?
Wow. Well, what I see is a continued pursuit of incorporating advanced technologies. Increasingly, you know, you can see recent examples, whether it's Ukraine or just even the very competitive activities, you might call it, abroad with our international partners and even adversaries. You see a reliance and an incorporation of advanced technologies in military operations. So we're absolutely going to see a big increase in machine learning capabilities. We're going to see additive manufacturing, which is already being incorporated very much throughout the military. You're going to see applications with artificial intelligence incorporated into how we employ forces. And you're going to see a reliance on a better educated force. We're going to ask a lot of young 18, 19, 20-year-olds you know, to be responsible for these technologies and how they're incorporated into the military dimension. So it's going to require a force that is far better trained and educated than even I was just 15 to 18 years ago.
And that is one of the questions that concerns me as technology changes and AI is now becoming more prevalent, and you see it in commercial applications, civilian applications, and I'm sure it's already in civilian applications. Before we left Goodfellow Air Force Base, before I retired, we had to train AI to recognize objects. And that's old school. I mean, I'm sure they're light years ahead of that now. Yeah. So do you think our weapons will get smarter as the people get smarter?
Absolutely. You know, I by no means would characterize myself as an expert or even a novice in the application of AI and other advanced technologies, but I think the writing is on the wall that you will see just in the very near future weapon systems that were unthinkable 10 years ago. And the way we're putting weapon systems on robotics and different types of machines that really take the risk is the design. The whole idea is to remove as much risk as possible from the force, to provide force protection as we try to, of course, you know, seek out, destroy our enemies. You know, we're trying to protect our force as well.
So what do you say to men and women who want to become a Marine?
Well, I would say first, do you think you're ready for the challenge? First and foremost, you've got to seek it within yourself. You know, the mental and physical courage, of course, to sign up for something and be a part of something that's bigger than just your individual self and your individual desires. But I would encourage men and women from all walks of life to think through, how do you want to challenge yourself, I said, but how do you want to better educate yourself, and how do you want to serve a community, both your nation, but your fellow Marines as your community, and then even your local community, wherever you may be stationed. There's quite a diverse opportunity, and the number of options to serve, I think, present the Marine Corps as a very compelling career path.
Well, as you talk about the young people coming into the Marine Corps, what do you say? What are recruiters telling young people today to get them both qualified and interested in becoming a United States Marine?
That's a good question. I don't particularly serve in the recruiting space, so I'm not up to date on all the different approaches and what messages are necessarily resonating with young people. But you know, the young people that I see in our schoolhouse that have already come through recruit training and Marine combat training are people who, just like in your generation and generations before us, have a desire to serve and a desire to proudly wear the title United States Marine and go and do things that their nation needs them to do because they're passionate about ensuring the safety and security of their country and their community at home.
I have an interesting question for you. I asked him, he couldn't answer it. Why is the jacket and the pants different shades of blue?
Oh wow, that's a hard one. I don't have an answer for you. But we can certainly, I can tell you the blood stripe and the legacy of the blood stripe going back to Chapultepec, and we incorporated that into our uniform.
Okay.
But I'd have to get back to you on that. I don't know for sure.
So you're trying to put him on the spot, put me on the spot too.
Yeah.
I knew the red stripe going down represented the blood. It represented, But we want to certainly thank you, Colonel, for taking the time to be with us on Real Talk with the Jenkins, and I want to wish you a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Marine.
Happy birthday. Hoorah.
Hoorah.
All right. That's right. Once a Marine, always a Marine. We're celebrating on November 10th the 248th birthday of the United States Marine Corps, the finest warfare unit in the world. And I'm so happy and proud of the Marines.
I know you are.
I am. I really am. Well, we want to thank you for taking the time to invite us into your home and to tell us a little bit, or allow us to tell you a little bit about the Marine Corps. And as always, please take care of yourselves and let's show a little bit more love and respect for each other. You're watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady MJ.
And we are the Jenkins.
To this day, young men and women choose to raise their right hand and swear an oath to something greater than themselves.
Streaming worldwide, this is the Gospel America Television Network.